Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready? Prepare for blast off.
Your fortress of solitude.
Greetings, program.
Glad you're alive.
Your sanctum sanctorum.
Resistance is futile.
Welcome.
This should be the first triumph. This is where the fun begins.
Proof positive that geeks have inherited the earth.
It's showtime.
It's time to get your geek on.
You complete me.
With Dave Gramillion.
All right. Welcome to one of the most listened to talk shows for geeks on radio. This is Get Your Geek On, and we are on a never-ending quest to awaken your inner geek by talking about all the products, events, news, opinion, reviews, and oh so much more that demonstrate that we are all geeks. Today on Season 3, Episode 30 on Freedom 1160 and Freedom1160.com, we are going to talk about a lot of news, starting with the Celebrity Fan Fest. They've made their big announcement about where and when their next show would be. The last one was at the JW Marriott on the far, far, far north side of San Antonio, but featured Jason Momoa, Ray Fisher, and Ben Affleck, among others. Those were the big headliners. Marvel news. Okay, we've got to address the Wolverine in the room, which is, of course, Hugh Jackman. Is he going to be in Marvel's Endgame, the Avengers 4 movie? We'll talk about that coming up. And the Captain Marvel marketing blitz is on. We are going to talk about toys, games, merchandise, apparel, so much. Expect to see Captain Marvel flooding the merchandise. It's going to be coming out fast and furious. Secrets of San Antonio Unlocked. We got the next show that's coming up that you may not be aware of that we are going to want to talk about. And that'll conclude. That should be the end there for the bottom half of the hour news. We're going to talk some DC news after that. How big will Aquaman get? Right now, the tsunami for box office dollars continues. You like what I did there? It was pretty good. It was kind of a typhoon of a joke a little bit. Okay. We'll talk about just how big it will go. How big did it drop from the first weekend to the second weekend? And we didn't talk a lot about the eSports scene for 2019. We talked movies, we talked Netflix, we talked TV shows, we talked streaming. We talked a lot about that. But eSports, the billion-dollar industry, is only getting bigger by the day. And we're going to talk about that as well. It seems like everybody's getting in on this except for San Antonio. And yeah, I'm going to take a rant out against my own city. The whole city is going to be in one nice little concise rant. We'll talk about that as well. Let me go and introduce my motley crew here. Welcome to 2019. Let me go ahead and introduce the man here on my left, your right, as you look across the radio dial. He is our gaming guru. He is currently still Purple Rain. He is Aaron Shapiro.
Purple rain, purple rain.
It's kind of starting to fade to pink now, though, I'm noticing.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of
bit.
like, I need to redo it already. Maybe I'll do that this weekend or next weekend.
Maybe.
I
don't know.
One of these days.
So you had kind of an interesting Thursday there, didn't you?
What was Thursday?
Thursday was the
pie in the face.
I already tried to
and the
forget
scene.
about it.
Yeah, so we put these videos up on our Facebook page. So Purple Rain had lost the two previous bets. We like to do box office bets. And he lost the last two. He's 1 for 3 now in 2018.
Came in strong.
Yeah, he started strong. You nailed Venom, and then you missed out on Fantastic Beasts, and you missed out on the trifecta, there at the end of the year. So you took a pie to the face.
Yeah.
And you had to sing in Wizards. Well, it wasn't Wizards robes.
It was a beard, a hat,
and a wand
that had only 8 spells left, and someone decided to use some of them before I got it.
So we went down on the street corner right here outside the studios, and you were. Yeah.
Hopefully you saw. That'd be fun if someone did. I would laugh so hard if
it's all on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GYGO Radio, and I haven't checked the YouTube, but probably up there as well. So we'll probably check that as well. Let's go ahead and look further to my left, your right, across the radio dial. You will see the man spinning the ones and zeros. He is our sound prognosticator, and he is Goose.
It's 2 O's in Goose.
There, actually, you only see a picture. Because I only have 2 cameras right now.
And if you're listening to us in the car, you won't see anything at all.
No.
Visually, just think about it.
No, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to Get Your Geek On 2019.
How you doing?
Doing all right. You know, we are now in our 4th year
Yes, we are entering our 4th year.
Yes.
You're senior citizens now.
Because we started in 2016.
Seniors in high school, yeah.
We went through all of 2017 and all of 2018.
In 2018.
So we are
we're
now
starting
our 4th year.
Wow. Woo! Good news. Good stuff.
Telling you.
Wanted to give a quick shout out and thank you to everybody who voted for us. The voting officially closed on the 31st, which
Literally on the 31st.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I thought it was
so
going to be. I
mad.
thought it was going to be through the 31st because that's what it said on their website, right?
It reads through the 31st.
So San Antonio Magazine in 2017 named us the best podcast
For 2018.
In 2018 we were named the best podcast for 2017.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how it worked. So we were up again for Best Podcast and for Best Radio Personality and Best Radio Station. Voting closed on the 31st, and so we want to thank everybody who voted for us. We do greatly appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun, and we're very glad to be bringing you a good quality radio show. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about the first announcement that came out of the box locally here in San Antonio, and that is the Celebrity Fan Fest. Now, they had their show it was middle of November.
Middle of November, like 2 weeks
weeks
after Alamo City.
Right, and they did that up at the JW Marriott, and it was, for a first-year show, it was a good success.
It's very good.
It was a lot of fun. I didn't hear a lot of complaints, and they brought in some huge names. I can't recall the last time Ben Affleck was in a Texas con.
Right. Now, what I liked about that, and I've complimented Bob on this, most of the time when it's a con and it's a weekend con, you have people come in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Sunday's kind of blah,
Yeah.
But what they did, and I hope they do it this next one, is that they had an attraction each day. Ray Fisher was there both days. Most of the celebrities were there both days, with the exception of 2. Jason Momoa was on Saturday. Ben Affleck was on Sunday.
Right.
You had to come both days to see both.
And you could show up on Sunday and still see a big headliner.
Yes.
And I do mean big because Ben Affleck is 6. I didn't know he was 6'4".
Yeah, I'm 6'1" and
he was
6'2", and he's bigger than me.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him in like Dogma.
Yeah.
You know, or I think Chasing Amy. Wasn't he in Chasing Amy?
Yes, he was.
And Kevin's film.
And he didn't look that tall in those movies. But then I walk up to him and he looks. It's pretty cool when the celebs look like right at you, and you're like, "Huh, you're Ben Affleck," and I'm like looking up. I'm like, "Dude, you are
that's
tall."
not a big
We can't really judge what.
Don't even. I know I'm 5 nothing. I know. Yeah, whatever. So Celebrity Fan Fest will be on June 14th, 15th, and 16th at the Freeman Coliseum and the Expo Hall.
Yes.
That's key because the Freeman Coliseum, we've had experiences with cons in arenas
Twice.
and let's face it, the Freeman Coliseum ain't exactly the AT&T Center
Or the Alamo Dome.
or the Alamo Dome, so that's a little worrisome. But then the Expo Hall, I've been there before. That's huge. That is huge. They're talking about having 230,000 square feet of indoor exhibit space, and they're going to utilize the outdoor space as well.
And it's 3 days this time.
It's 3 days
June
long.
14th through the 16th.
So that's going to be fun. We'll get more information.
And tickets go on sale tomorrow.
Yes.
Monday.
So you can start getting your tickets immediately, which is really cool. And next week we will have Bob here in studio to talk about, dealing with, I mean, I can only imagine the challenges that come from working the JW Marriott and then going to something like the Freeman, where now you have at least 2 buildings, plus they're going to utilize the outdoor space.
The one thing I liked about the
In June, by the way.
at the Marriott is because we've gone to cons,
Yes.
and unfortunately, you have to pay for parking. We had to pay for parking at Greater Austin. We had to pay for parking at ACCC. We did not have to pay for parking at Compalooza because we valet parked our cars at the hotel.
Yeah, which was nice.
Which was nice. Otherwise, we would have had to pay for parking there too.
And we did the same at PAX. I'm going to get a hotel downtown.
we
Forget
had-
commuting.
Yeah, we
just
have to pay for parking downtown as well. That's the one thing I liked about Celebrity Fan Fest at the Marriott. We didn't have to pay for parking.
That's true. They even
With
have
it being
shuttle
at the
buses,
Freeman,
too.
which is close to the AT&T Center, is parking going to be a thing now?
Yeah, we're gonna discuss that and much more next week when Bob comes in the house. But let's go ahead. There's a lot more pressing news that came out this week that we need to talk about. Starting with our Marvel news, we got to talk about Hugh Jackman's appearance in Endgame.
This is that sequel to the smash hit, no equal.
Okay, so Marvel's Avengers Endgame. This is the movie we've been waiting for since 2008. It is the second half of Marvel's Infinity War. All right, so Thanos did the finger snap. Boom, that's done. Now what happens after that? That is what Endgame could be. It could be the highest grossing movie since Avatar in 2009. I don't think, first of all, no one's going to catch Avatar. That's not possible. But I do firmly believe it will pass The Force Awakens and easily go past about 2.1 bill.
So let me answer this question. You say nothing can touch Avatar.
No.
How about if you do non-adjusted for inflation dollars?
Well, that's different though. We'll probably discuss that
because
if
you look at if you look at adjusted inflation dollars, Avatar is not the biggest movie of all time.
That's true. That's Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Gone with the Wind is 1. Star Wars is 2. Sound of Music is 3.
Right.
And then I think E.T. I think it's 4.
So if you're going to say Avatar is number 1, and you do non-adjusted dollars, then Endgame has a chance.
It does have a chance. But, I mean, Avatar is just such a monstrous, huge movie at the box office. So we'll get to that. We'll talk about that more when we get closer to it.
2 through 5 never came out.
Not yet.
So when we talk to Endgame and it being the highest grossing movie ever.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Absolutely. Now, there's a little bit of a flutter that came around the internet about Hugh Jackman making an appearance. If you do a Google search for Hugh Jackman famous movies, Endgame appears in the credits. And that's interesting.
Well, if you did, it's not. I checked, it's not there anymore, but it was.
It was. So, however, so everyone was like, "Oh my God, we're going to see Wolverine in Endgame," which is going to be the signal of a first big crossover. You see, because the X-Men, of which Wolverine is a part, was a 20th Century Fox licensed product. Okay, that's why you'll see the 20th Century Fox logo on everything X-Men related going back to 2000.
Yeah.
However, now that 20th Century Fox is officially part of Disney, all bets are off. We could have crossover, 21st century.
Entertainment, though.
Right.
They don't get the news.
Well, yeah, they don't get everything, but they get the movie part of it. So
just
yeah.
try to act clear.
We didn't have a lawyer in-house to explain all this.
Like Fred Savage said, Marvel films produced by Fox is kind of like the Beatles being produced by Nickelback.
Ooh, ouch.
Everyone bashes Nickelback, but I'd like to point out how many albums they get and how many people kept buying them.
I like Nickelback.
I don't mind them at all.
So here's the story. Don't expect Hugh Jackman to appear in Endgame. Just
no.
Don't. Google bases this off of an algorithm, and somewhere in there, Marvel, Fox, X-Men, Wolverine got roped into an algorithm with Endgame. Don't expect it. They did the same thing. They said Josh Brolin from Deadpool 2 would be an Aquaman. Somehow the algorithm just picked that up and ran with it, and everybody flipped out, except for us. We didn't bother to report it because we didn't care. I didn't think it was news because I thought it was just an algorithm thing. But now the Hugh Jackman thing was so big, I felt like we had to talk about it.
Now, what would be interesting? If Hugh Jackman in the very first episode of the Picard series has a little walk-on cameo.
Oh, no, that would be fun.
That would be hilarious.
That would be pretty good. I'd like that. If he's like, cutting the grass or something in the background.
Now, I also don't expect Hugh Jackman to be in Dark Phoenix or New Mutants.
No, I think he's done for Wolverine. He's done.
He's
Although it would make good marketing sense. You could have a whole new Wolverine action figure to sell.
That's why there was Logan, because he was done.
Yeah, pretty much.
He was.
Speaking of which, so the Captain Marvel marketing blitz has officially begun. The movie comes out on March 8th.
Yes.
Which will be here before you know it. It's already 2019. We're looking at, so that's what, 9 weeks.
Yes.
9 weeks until this movie comes out, so the marketing blitz is already there. Disney has started the hashtag Higher, Further, Faster campaign. So you can go to Disney parks, get your picture taken, like with merchandise, with the Captain Marvel character that's now there, and you hashtag it Higher, Further, Faster, and Disney will splash it onto their Instagram and all that fun stuff. They're really looking for that hashtag.
Nice.
The Captain Marvel character will be at all Disney parks, including Disneyland Paris and Disney Shanghai.
Now I really need to go to Disney World.
Well, now
Shanghai.
Disney Shanghai. Let's go. Road trip?
Yeah, why not? We can drive to Shanghai.
Road trip, then boat trip, then road trip again?
Is that after Chicago?
Too?
Yeah, before Chicago. Well,
okay.
We'll go from here to Shanghai, back to Chicago.
And then drop me off
that's around the block,
Go
right?
to Chicago by way of Shanghai.
You know,
Oh my God.
You know what the funny thing is? If it's like, let's say it's a 20-hour trip to Shanghai, 18 hours of that is getting out of Texas.
The fun part is we won't know what day it is by the time we get to Chicago.
Oh, God, we won't have a clue.
Because we're going to change dates twice.
What day is it? We're in the past. Wait, get the log numbers. Hurry.
True story. A friend of mine left Japan on New Year's Day in 2019 and arrived back in 2018 on New Year's Eve in California.
Time zones are a wonderful thing.
I love it. You can also find Captain Marvel on their cruise line because they're going to have a Marvel Day at Sea coming out of Port Canaveral. Sorry.
Did I tell you I know somebody on the cruise line?
You do not. Who?
Yes, I know the interpreter. That
Oh,
does
no
the
kidding.
sign language
Oh,
stuff.
that's awesome.
Yeah, she got the job. Like she was telling me like a couple months ago.
That's
so
gonna be fun. You just she just stays on the cruise line for like how long? Weeks and weeks and weeks.
Whatever. She's on the cruise line the whole time.
Oh,
doing the interpreting.
Awesome. So they're going to have a Star Wars Day at Sea and a Marvel Day at Sea, and of course just the standard Disney cruise line. You can go there as well. Merchandise. Oh yes. Remember what our good friends at Spaceballs said: where the real money is made.
Yep.
Merchandise to come rolling out will include Hasbro, Funko, Lego, Invicta, Stance, Diff, BioWorld, Fast Forward, Her Universe, Jaya, Sea Life, and Mad Engine. All of these companies are getting in on Captain Marvel merchandise at some way, shape, and form. In fact, you can already shop for it at shopdisney.com, where, of course, being Disney, they'll have some exclusives, toys, apparel, and so on and so forth. You will find Disney stores, which we have one here. We have one at North Star Mall. Mm-hmm. And is there one at La Cantera?
I don't think so.
I think we only have the one, right, at North Star. But they'll get their merchandise.
I think there's one at River Center.
I can't remember.
Is there Disney store?
Disney store at River Center?
There was one at River Center. I know that.
There was, yeah. I think it's still there, isn't it?
I tried to get a job there like 20 years ago.
Well, then
like a good
maybe
few years
maybe
since I've been
it's a
there.
good thing you didn't. But so February, you'll start seeing Captain Marvel merchandise appear at your local Disney stores. Now, some of the merchandise they've already previewed. Hats,
The backpacks.
jackets, backpacks. I like the watches.
I don't know, I kind of like the backpack, actually.
It was Invictus, I think, is coming out with a really nice looking watch. Captain Marvel will get the logo right there on the wrist. So it's not just toys and action figures. Of course, there are going to be toys and action figures.
Right.
But they're going all out. I don't recall seeing an Aquaman watch when Aquaman came out.
They do it was waterproof.
Oh, nice. Very good, Goose. I'm going to say something nice about you now. Well, no, maybe not now. At some
Not
point, but just
now.
because of that.
Probably in like 6 months.
But I don't recall Wolverine, Deadpool. The marketing campaign for Captain Marvel will be bigger than maybe any other Marvel character we've seen before.
There was a 3-knife set for Wolverine, though.
Ah, boy.
Now you lost that compliment. You're gonna get.
It's gone. It's gone.
I mean, but there's... I don't know how I feel about this, honestly.
What, the merchandising blitz or Captain Marvel in general?
No, I like Captain Marvel. Don't get me wrong. I like the whole thing, Marvel, but it's just over the top. It feels like it's going to flood the market so much.
It's going to
that I
absolutely
wonder,
flood the market.
Here's what's going to happen. This is the first Marvel superhero that's been a focus.
Right.
They went so far in Age of Ultron, I think it was, to actually change one of the scenes where they put the Captain America minifigure on what was a Black Widow scene.
Yeah.
Right.
And in this case, I think they're trying to make up for it.
I think
they're
so.
trying to make up for all the Black Widow ignoring that they did for merchandising for the last 10 years.
Which really is a travesty.
It is a travesty.
I think we don't harp on Marvel for a lot, but the way they've treated Black Widow has really been one of the things that we've been on since the beginning.
Yes.
The way they've treated her character.
How have we not had a Black Widow movie yet? We've had an Ant-Man movie, for God's sake.
It's an outright outrage. It absolutely is, because it markets it. It's a brilliant marketing move already to have your first female, but to have somebody who's established that we already know.
She was in the third MCU movie.
Yeah,
the third.
That's true.
Yeah, she
MCU
was.
movie.
You're right. Iron Man 2 was the third one to come out.
And then we get introduced to Hawkeye in the fourth MCU movie.
Yep.
And we have yet to have a solo film for either one of those.
They're ignoring good characters because they have no superpowers, it feels like, at this point.
Yeah, but that's some of the most fun movies, though, are those spy movies.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a James Bond fanatic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could have like a Bourne Supremacy type of movie with Hawkeye and Black Widow.
One word, 6 letters, Batman.
There you go. No superpowers.
But see, Batman, they go with the iconic image. Everybody knows Batman. Not everybody knew Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Well, to be fair, Ant-Man doesn't have any superpowers either. He just has a super suit, much like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
That's still a superpower, though.
Yeah, because it is otherworld. It's beyond what mortal men can do.
Yeah.
But I think that it would have been a great change of pace for Marvel to do a movie about superheroes that don't have superpowers. And the intrigue they could have done, you could have really expanded on the character.
Didn't they try to do Powerless as a TV show? And that
was DC.
Was that DC?
DC.
I couldn't remember who had Powerless.
No, Powerless.
I thought that was Marvel.
Yeah, no, that was DC.
Okay.
What had Vanessa Hudgens and.
I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah, that was on NBC. That was DC.
Yeah, okay.
Alrighty, so just get ready because the Captain Marvel merchandise blitz is on. You've got 9 weeks till the movie comes out. Those 9 weeks, you will see Captain Marvel everywhere. It's coming. Brace yourselves. But you know, you can also find some really good apparel merchandise and what more is over at Dragon's Lair of Alamo Ranch out on the west side of San Antonio off of 151 and 1604 right there on the exit to SeaWorld. You just exit right instead of left there. Unless you're coming from the south, then it's right, left instead of right. Right now, going on January 9th at 7 p.m., they are having what they call their open gaming night, where you can play Cards Against Humanity, Super Fight, Red Flags, Joking Hazard, and Pitch Storm, and all games will be 10% off that day. The games that I mentioned will be 10% off that day, so you can head out there, have a great time, play some great games, and then buy them as well, take them home. Dragon's Lair of Alamo Ranch
so
on the west
that's
side.
on Wednesday?
That'd be, yes, Wednesday the 9th, 7 p.m.
Which happens to also be New Comic Book Day.
Oh, outstanding.
So
Very
get your
cool.
comic books as well.
You get your comic books and you get your games at a discount, and you can hang out and play.
You don't
with
get the
some
comics
friends.
at a discount.
Well, you get the games at a discount, so that works. Okay, so that leads us to our new segment, one that I really, really have enjoyed so far, and that's talking about the secrets of San Antonio Unlocked. All right, so coming up, the Dale Ekman I Didn't Get What I Wanted for Christmas toy show. That's coming up next weekend. Right before PAX there, so you want to check that out.
It's my birthday weekend.
Ooh, well, you will
Nice.
definitely find what you're looking for out there. Now, I talked to Gary, who helps to run the show out there, and he said they'll have over 160 tables set up. This is not a standard. This is not a Comic-Con. Okay, you're not going to find celebrities and panels and all that. This is a pure merchandise, free for all.
Yeah.
It's going to be wonderful.
It depends on what you think constitutes a celebrity.
Well, that's true enough. So you will have kids and 9, by the way, kids 9 and under, get in for free. Adults are only $7, and you're in.
What about kids at heart?
And what location is this again?
This is going to be out at the Austin Highway Events Center. So that's off Austin Highway. Exactly. Now, Doug Hazelwood will be there. They did get Doug. Doug has done some ink for The Flash, Wonder Woman, Adventures of Superman, Birds of Prey, among others.
He was the
for
inker of
DC.
Adventures of Superman 500, which marked the beginning of Reign of the Supermen, which, by the way, DC's coming out with the animated feature later on this year.
Outstanding.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
cool.
It'll be fun.
So you definitely want to head over there. That's going to be the Dale Ekman I Didn't Get What I Wanted for Christmas toy show out on Austin Highway. Remember, kids 9 and under will get in for free. Adults are only $7.
Yeah.
I can pretty much guarantee we'll be there.
I introduced you to Doug at Comic Palooza.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, we did meet Doug, and he's a great guy.
My brother has a signed Adventures 500 in the polybag, signed by Doug Hazelwood.
Very nice. Now we have a couple of minutes left, so Aaron, you wanted to touch on something, the Outsiders.
Oh yeah. So came out on Friday, the 4th, was a show called Young Justice Outsiders, Season 3. What this is about, so let's see, it's been 5 years. So about 2013 was the end of it. So it started in 2010, 2011. There was a show called Young Justice that came out on Cartoon Network that featured basically all the sidekicks. You had Kid Flash, Robin, he wasn't Nightwing yet, Superboy, Beast Boy, all the kind of sidekick and the younger people, kind of like your Teen Titans, basically. But they would call them Young Justice. They were, I guess you could say, coming of age at this point, and the superheroes like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman were kind of getting them ready to take over the mantle in case something ever happened to them, or to induct them eventually into the Justice League. So the whole storyline was not so, I mean, it was kind of kid-friendly, but it did go into espionage a lot. It did go into a lot of darker tones at times. So it did well. It was very, very loved for the 2 years it was on. And then Cartoon Network decided to cancel it. If you go and look it up, in 2016, one of the creators did comment as to why it was canceled. Merchandising basically was a big thing for it. So for the last 5 years, it's been on and off the air for, I believe, Cartoon Network. Netflix had it for a couple of years. And then they did finally what people wanted to see. There was a movie that was made, animated movie, called Young Justice versus Justice League. So it was where... is that the right title?
It was Teen Titans versus Justice League.
Was it Teen Titans?
Yeah.
Okay, but it was still Young Justice.
It was the
though,
Damian, Robin, and...
Okay, so it was...
Yeah.
Was that? I couldn't remember the title exactly. So, well, it was basically what the Young Justice, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a DCAU feature, and it's actually very good. I highly recommend it.
I haven't watched it yet, but it was basically kind of giving us that the Teen Titans back versus what I kind of wanted to see them fight Justice League. And they did a little bit in the series. So season 3 is out. So go watch it. We've been waiting 5 years for it. Let's see where it goes. I hope it's going to be good.
Exclusively on DC Universe.
Yeah, I hope it's going to be good. I'm really excited for it.
All right, so coming up after the bottom half of the hour news break, we got some DC news we want to talk about. Aquaman, have you seen it? North America, not so much, but worldwide, oh, yes, you have. And some video game news to talk about. It's time to talk some eSports for 2019. We'll be right back here on Freedom 1160 and freedom1160.com.
Greetings, you worthless peasants. I am Grey Delisle, the voice of Azula, and so many other of your favorite characters. And you're listening to the most dominant radio show for geeks in the world. Get your geek on.
Alrighty, welcome back from the bottom half of the hour news break. This is Get Your Geek On Freedom 1160 Talk Radio. I am Dave Gramillion, and if you missed the first half of the show, we talked a lot about some Marvel news that was coming, including the ever-flowing river of merchandise that will be coming our way regarding Captain Marvel. We'll be talking about Endgame as well, and we also talked about the Celebrity Fan Fest announcement. But you can catch all of that on our award-winning podcast. That's right, the very best podcast. It sounds weird now that it's 2019 to say it was the best in 2017, but we're waiting to hear if it was the best in 2018 as well. And that can be found on Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, Omni, Stitcher, and TuneIn. So any of those platforms you subscribe to, go find us and catch our interviews. We interviewed over 20 different people last year, which, considering we're a weekly show, that's a lot of interviews. You can find them all on our podcast. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and we're going to dive right in. We've got some DC news we want to talk about, including Aquaman. How big is it going to be, and how far did it sink from week 1 to week 2? Alrighty, so Aquaman, we talked about this in 2018. They have 3 movies coming out in the next 18 months, give or take. They had Aquaman, followed by Shazam, followed by Wonder Woman 1984, which is the sequel to their first really big movie that they had at the box office. And we said here that 2 out of those 3 movies needed to be smash hits or they were in some serious trouble. They had to have home runs. You know, singles, foul balls, all those sports analogies, wasn't going to do it. So Aquaman was the first one up, and yeah, it's doing pretty well worldwide. Here's the difference. When you look at box office numbers, when you're talking about how well a movie did as far as bringing in money, you have to consider several things. First of all is their budget. How big was their budget? Not just production, but marketing. You know, you got to fly Jason Momoa all over the place to appear on Good Morning America and, all these other talk shows. And you got to get him on Oprah, and everyone's going crazy about his abs and all that. But you've got to run commercials, not just here, but in Paris, London, Tokyo, China, all over the place. It's a lot of money to be throwing out. What you also have to consider coming back is how much money did it make in the United States, which is what we call the domestic box office, and how much did it make worldwide. Big difference. For example, if I tell you that Aquaman has made $800 million worldwide, that sounds huge. That is incredible. Yeah, it hasn't even made $200 million in the United States yet. 75% of its total box office run has been outside the United States, which, hey, money's money. Okay, but it still shows that DC hasn't quite caught on in the United States. It did hit 800 mil. That's great. Wonder Woman had 821 million. So Aquaman is closing in on that. Batman Superman had $873 million. I can't believe it made that much, but, well, there it is anyway. Justice League had only 229 million domestic. That's the lowest in the DCEU. And then it got even lower so far with Aquaman. Now, it's killing it in China. The Chinese market loves Aquaman, but the DC market in the United States, it's just not there. It's not resonating. Now, have y'all seen Aquaman yet?
Oh, I might just muted.
I saw it. I loved it.
It has the same problem I have with every villain. So I didn't like that.
Oh, I had no sympathy for Black Manta.
But they tried to sell it still.
They tried, but I was looking at it and I was like, Aquaman has a point. He did it to himself.
Well, him and Orn, though. Even Orn, it's like, feel bad, my mom's dead.
Well, here's the thing about Orn. Too. I disagree with some of the ways they did the story separate from the comics. I wish they had kept it closer to the comics, where because in Throne of Atlantis, the animated movie, Orn kills Atlanta.
Right.
Just stabs her right in the back.
Bam!
And in this case, you kind of feel sympathy for Orn, not for Manta. I have no sympathy for Manta. He did that to himself. 100%.
Well, but you can argue he didn't do it. He was just following his dad. It could be argued.
But it could also be argued that, his dad was a pirate. He was a pirate. Whatever calamity falls upon them is their own fault for being pirates in the first place.
That is true. But he also doesn't know any other life.
That's his dad's fault. but the thing is, he could have, my dad died from being a pirate. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to go do my own thing.
Maybe following my father's footsteps, not the best idea.
Right? But I enjoyed Aquaman quite a bit. I had a ball with that movie.
Now, here's the thing you have to also consider, is that Aquaman in overseas markets is doing very well.
Right.
But it had a lot of competition here at home.
Oh, the competition is Bumblebee.
Yeah, which I'm just stunned. I'm just stunned that nobody decided to move these movies a couple of months.
Because they all thought.
Well, think about this. Episode 9 comes out in December, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason that they chose to take Wonder Woman to 2020, because they actually wanted it to stand on its own, and to not have it compete with Star Wars, because it would have a depressed turnout if it had to compete with Star Wars. So that's why they moved it to 2020.
But why 2020? Why not 2019?
Because one, I don't think Post would have been ready for a summer 2019 release, but it would have been ready for a summer 2020. So
also because you can get that date further out, and maybe other studios will shy away from that. Right now, you've got a lot of competition come summer. This is going to be a very busy summer for blockbusters.
In 2019, yeah.
In 2019, yes. Endgame alone will be running for quite some time, and will still be making some serious bank 6 to 8 weeks out.
Oh, and could you tell Jason Momoa just had a ton of fun with that movie? You could see it in his performance. He was just,
oh my God,
he was enjoying himself so much.
The movie is really good, really stunningly beautiful.
The cinematography was
that more than anything,
and the comic accurate costumes.
Yes, I like that they actually were able to make it look amazing.
They did great with that.
Now, the big question, every movie has a drop from the first weekend it opens to the second weekend it opens. Batman Superman had a 50% drop. Justice League had a 56% drop. Suicide Squad, that thing just bombed. 100% drop. 112%, 147%.
People from the first week asked for their money back in the second week.
Yeah, pretty much. That was terrible. So, but typically you see about a 40 to 45% drop on average. Aquaman dropped 22.6%.
That's nothing. That's really nothing.
That's a drop in the bucket.
That's people who went to go see Bumblebee in week 1.
Yeah.
Went to go see Aquaman in week 2.
Exactly. All the people who saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse were like, okay, let's go see
those who get paid weekly, yeah, they had a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, only 2 DC movies have ever hit the $1 billion mark worldwide. Now, keep in mind, Aquaman's already hit 800 mil. But only 2 have hit the $1 billion. And that is, anyone want to take a guess? Take a guess?
With or without? Okay, I've already seen the notes, so that's kind of wrong for me to say anything.
Okay, let me put it this way. Do you think that any of them from the DCEU, the current crop of movies, would have hit $1 billion?
No,
not even.
Wonder Woman was the closest.
It was The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises.
Well,
and Dark Knight barely topped.
I think Aquaman can do it.
I absolutely believe it'll happen.
I don't know how the Dark Knight made it there.
Because
The Dark Knight was a great movie.
Because The Dark Knight was one of the greatest movies of all time.
Which is the third one? Was it The Rises?
Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, never mind. Dark Knight Rises. How it made it there.
And
I love
that
Dark Knight.
was because everybody...
Because Dark Knight was a good movie.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, but the third one, just the film sucks.
Think about this. Star Trek Beyond was so much better than Star Trek Into Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
But Star Trek Into Darkness did better than Beyond because people saw Into Darkness and it's like, I'm done with this crap.
The Star Wars Solo movie was a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
But The Last Jedi, not so much in people's opinions, so it suffered. Same thing with Dark Knight. That was a great movie, so let's go see Dark Knight Rises, especially because the trailer was really good.
Yeah, just
Bane, Catwoman, yeah, they look pretty good. Let's see here. All right, however, so that's 2 movies for the DC.
I don't know.
Six Marvel movies have already made that.
So let me ask you this question. On our Facebook chat at facebook.com/GYGO radio, David Lozano says Aquaman has a shot at $2 billion, but it's a long shot.
No. It doesn't even... I will say this. It does not even have a shot at $1.5 billion. It'll make a bill, but it will not make 1.5. No way. Nope.
No way?
Not a prayer.
Not a prayer.
Nope, not a prayer.
What about 1.2?
That could be
1.3.
Well, I mean, how?
He's trying to.
How about 1.31? 1.3.
No. I'm talking. Is there like a bet involved at this point?
We could do a bet. You want to do a bet?
I say it does hit 1.5.
I say there's not a chance.
Okay.
It would have to double the box office that it made now.
So
do that. Okay.
So what's the winner? What's the loser got to do? Because this is a one-on-one. There's no middle person now.
Yeah, I'm out on this one because I would kind of agree with. I don't know if I would agree with Goose, but I would say it's at least going to break $1 billion.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'll say make a bill, but not 1.5.
Okay.
All right. So what are we?
I learned my lesson. I'm sitting now.
Yeah, we should do something for 1.5. We'll make it up because we're killing airtime now. So
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure something out. But we'll get a bet going for Aquaman. 1.5 bill is the mark. That you're saying that's the over under. Not a prayer. No, not going to happen. Of course, I said the same thing about Texas and Georgia. I didn't think Texas had a prayer against Georgia. And
what happened, David?
I don't know how the states got up and fought each other, but okay. I mean, you just go through random state names.
Texas Longhorns versus the Georgia Bulldogs.
Did you see the Longhorn attack the Bulldog?
I haven't seen football in a while.
Okay, so the mascot for Texas is a Longhorn. It's a 1,700-pound steer. The
Like
mascot for Georgia...
actual steer?
Yes.
Yeah.
The mascot for Georgia is a 60-pound bulldog.
Aww.
And so they're doing this pregame photo shoot, right? And the Longhorn breaks out of its enclosure and attacks the bulldog.
Who wins?
Well, who do you think?
The bulldog.
Well, actually, they pulled them both away really quickly. But yeah, that was kind of...
I would actually root for the bulldog in that because all it's got to do is go for one of the legs.
And not get gored by the ginormous horns.
You got one shot. That's all you get.
Okay.
As long as it gets to your...
And if the bulldog does it right, it's steak for dinner.
Exactly.
You can also have a really good time. I've got no segue for that.
I'm glad we derailed that.
I got no segue for that into talking about the heroes and villains of cosplay here in San Antonio.
If you want to dress up like a steer.
And I'm sure some of them like steak.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Wow, just no segue at all. You're talking about the hero. If you want to cosplay, if you have friends that want to cosplay, but you're just unsure, you got questions, you're not sure where to go, but you want to hang out with a really great group of friends, you want to do that with the Heroes and Villains of Cosplay. They fundraise for good causes. They have a terrific time together, great group of friends who cosplay any way you want to go. You can cosplay with our friends over at the Heroes and Villains and Cosplay. Okay, so that'll also bring us over to our next segment of news here, which is going to be, we're talking esports and video games. There's just no segue. How do you go from... I mean,
if you want to learn,
well, hold on. You want to know? You want to know how to segue into that?
How?
You know who else likes steak? The heroes and villains of cosplay.
No, I mean you could talk about dressing up as furries. Whoever wants to be a bulldog.
And if you would like to dress up as Bevo, I know some great people that can help you out with that. The heroes and villains of cosplay.
If you ever wanted to look like Bucky from,
yeah, hey, there you go.
See?
That might work.
Plenty of ways this could have worked.
Oh goodness! All right, so in 2018, which all of last year. Oh, so long ago.
It feels like it was just yesterday.
It was Monday.
2 days.
We previewed Netflix shows, we previewed streaming shows, we previewed
did.
movies, we previewed television. The one thing we didn't preview was eSports. And if you've listened to our show for any particular length of time, you know we love our eSports. It's $1 billion industry, and it's growing by leaps and bounds every single month. There's a new report about how big eSports has gotten. And right now, I mean, there are more reports now about Fortune 500 companies that are sponsoring teams. I was watching, was it Shroud, I think, on Twitch, and he's sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper's throwing money his way.
Dude,
In addition to Geico, I mean, these Fortune 500 companies are all getting in on
So
this.
my waking hours are unofficially sponsored by Diet Dr. Pepper.
There you go.
Unofficially.
Yeah, true.
It means I pay them money; they don't pay me.
A lot of these guys are getting in. Twitch streamers currently have deals with Corsair and HyperX, which makes sense, but also Geico, Dr. Pepper, and Shroud has a coffee deal.
Yes, he does.
He's the second highest paid streamer behind Ninja, and he has a coffee deal. You can buy Shroud's Insane Cappuccino.
You can also
So-
buy Shroud's Insane Micro Roast, which is about $23 online.
Mixer is also another streaming site. So whoever doesn't know, if you go to mixer.com, it's actually the one Microsoft actually basically owns. That's their version.
Which means it asks for updates every 5 minutes and takes an hour and a half to update.
Sometimes.
Okay.
And the reason I bring that up is because you brought up this coffee thing. Mixer, I'm not going to lie, is the way smaller version of Twitch. So maybe you'll see people with maybe 3,000 people watching at most, which is
only 3,000.
well, I mean, like Ninja and those other guys who
Yeah.
get thousands and thousands of people watching them. The reason I bring it up is there was one guy who literally, I was just going through it last night, had maybe 10,000 followers, and I think there was only like 20 of us watching. He has a coffee deal.
He has
with
a coffee
some little company I've never heard of.
Holy
Because he was
cow.
going on a rant, and I'm like, he's going to rant. And it was a coffee deal, like a little ad he was doing for a coffee deal he has. I was like, you don't have more than 10,000 followers, though.
Yeah, and
It's getting big.
It's getting huge, and now Chipotle has a deal with Solo Mid. TSM is partnered with Chipotle, and MasterCard is getting in on esports.
I can't believe that one, to be honest. What are you going to do?
MasterCard.
Let's run your credit check while I stream.
Yeah, I guess they'll be exclusive. You can only buy their merch using MasterCard or something. I mean,
that would be dumb. I'm not going to lie.
Well, yeah, but
that'll be dumb. But I mean, that's all I can see is, why don't you run your credit check with me? What's your social while I stream? And
Yeah,
let everyone
exactly.
else see it.
Now, right now, we're in a dead period for big tournaments. Overwatch doesn't start for a while. The Dota 2, there's nothing going on.
Yeah, YouTube had one last week for...
But that was like 25 grand prize pool. I
Yeah, it was a
think.
small one.
Yeah,
It was
so
a tiny
There's
tournament.
some small ones going on, but nothing huge.
I love how I say that.
Although, if you want to
25K.
see small unofficial tournaments, you can head over to PAX South in
Yes.
a couple of
Oh, yeah.
weeks, and we're going to be there. Not maybe all of us, but some of us are going to be there.
At least
And there's
two-thirds.
at least there's a PUBG tournament. There's going to be a Fortnite or Overwatch.
PUBG,
There's a
Fortnite,
PUBG,
Magic the
Fortnite,
Gathering.
And, yeah, and several other like
gonna
unofficial
be
tournaments that you can check out.
a lot of
at
tabletop
PAX South
tournaments.
here in San Antonio in a couple weeks.
So this is where we take the big breath before we plunge back into esports tournaments, because they're going to be all over the place.
I know. I need to start looking
But
at
there's
the
not much
schedule.
going on now, and now we get word that Top Golf is getting in on this. They will open
What's
up
Top Golf?
6 esports lounges. Top
That's
Golf is
the-
that big golfing place out
Okay.
on I-10.
That's a 2-story or 3-story thing, right?
It's like
Multiple
three-
stories and has a big old net.
Yep.
I've been there like twice. Okay.
Yeah, so it's
I know where at.
it's a driving range and more.
Is that where you hit the guy in the golf cart?
Unfortunately, no. It doesn't quite work that way.
Aw.
But it's a driving range, and there's a club, and I mean, there's a lot you can do other than just hit golf balls around.
Yes.
Okay.
And now, in fact, they're expanding. They're going to open up 6 esports lounges, including one in Houston and one in Austin.
Wait.
Huh?
You said one in Houston and one in Austin.
That's right.
Tell me on the
There's another city where I-10 and I-35 come together that could probably use one of those as well.
Where's that at?
Oh, that would be here, but unfortunately, we're not.
I was trying to
The Dallas-Fort Worth area is sinking in big bucks. The city of Arlington said that it was going to fund a $10 million esports stadium. Jerry Jones and John Goff, who's a real estate investor, they're going to acquire Complexity Gaming and move the team's global headquarters to Frisco. which is where that's where that's where their Dallas Cowboys headquarters is.
Okay. Did not know that.
Okay, so all that's going on. Austin is getting in on the esports scene. Houston already has the Outlaws, and they're going to get the Top Golf deal. What does San Antonio get?
And
Nothing.
Houston has the fuel.
So
Houston, the Outlaws.
Oh, Dallas fuel.
Dallas has
That's
the
right.
fuel.
So you're saying we're just sitting here
We got
with
nothing.
our 6 shooters and,
We got nothing.
Jack Daniels.
We
what we're doing.
we got nothing. And
How does that make you feel?
I'll tell you how it makes me feel.
The doctor's in. How?
San Antonio is clearly lagging behind, and that's not actually a pun or a play on words. We are really lagging behind. It drives me crazy. So we missed out on Major League Soccer.
Austin's getting that.
Austin's going to get that. We missed out on Major League Baseball. The Tampa Bay Devil Rays aren't coming here. The Oakland Raiders aren't coming here. San Diego Chargers aren't coming here. Nobody's coming to San Antonio. Our skyline is stagnant, but every time I drive through Austin to see my in-laws, there's like 4 more buildings going up in downtown Austin. And I'm not exaggerating about 4 new buildings. There's 4 new buildings going up every time I drive through. We got the Frost Building, and that's it for like the last 20 years. Well, the Grand Hyatt, and that's it. That's it. There's nothing else coming to San Antonio. We are becoming obsolete down here in South Texas. We're the 7th largest city in the nation. We're quickly becoming the 6th. We're not too far behind Phoenix, and we're not too far behind Philly for the 5th largest either. But we are seriously lagging behind the times. No esports growth, no esports development, no esports teams, nothing down here. And I wish I were exaggerating. I wish I could say, well, at least we got this over here. At least we got that over there. There's nothing.
Yeah.
We are stuck in the 1990s down here. This town will not grow. And it's driving me crazy. Absolutely driving me crazy. There's no reason why we can't have an esports team. There's no reason why we can't do a serious major investment from UTSA, USAA, HEB, Whataburger, somebody, anybody. You mean to tell me you can't find people to cough up $10 million together with these gigantic companies? We got Fortune 100 companies down here. They can't come up with $10 million between them to build a 4,500 seat capacity stadium, state of the art, with decent Wi-Fi. That'd be nice. Really? That's my rant here, San Antonio. I can't believe that we're stuck like this. It just drives me crazy that nobody, apparently in the city, has the foresight or the vision to advance this city into the 21st century. Oh, but we get those little scooters. That's nice.
We have the Rainbow Crosswalk downtown.
We got the Rainbow Crosswalk. That was nice. Okay. Yay.
We have the Alamo. That's what we're going to live off of.
Which is stuck in 1836. Yeah, we're going to completely destroy downtown for the Alamo. Oh, that's going to be great. But we're not moving forward. We're not moving forward into the 21st century, and it's driving me crazy. Why don't we have city leaders with the vision and the foresight to move this along, to get us into the mainstream where we should be, instead of being the sleepy little town that just thrives just on tourism and the Spurs? There we go. That's my rant right there.
I mean, I agree with you on all of it.
So, are we like the largest city with the lowest like cost of living or something?
No, cost of living is pretty high here.
Well, not compared to
Austin or
Dallas is pretty bad.
Dallas is bad, but Austin. I don't know if
Austin's a little higher.
But let's look at
50,000 is the median
one thing I'm
income,
thinking is maybe average income could play a factor with that.
True.
Because are we going to be? We've always said since 2005, since the Saints came here after Katrina, welcome to Get Your Sports On, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding.
That we could support an NFL team because we showed it.
But we can't.
But nobody wants to come here. I don't know why.
Austin gets Dell. Austin gets MLS. Austin gets eSports.
Austin has the racetrack too.
Austin has the Formula One racetrack.
Oh yeah, they do.
And so now Austin, but hey, we got the better breakfast tacos. Big deal.
Hey,
Austin's lapping us.
I was kidnapped one time over that.
That's true. I remember that. Austin is lapping San Antonio, and it's not even funny anymore. It's not. I mean, I don't know what we got to do to make people wake up and realize that San Antonio's got to get on the ball, but San Antonio's not.
The problem is they don't want to invest in the entertainment side of it. Austin also has, okay, I'm going to just throw another name out there, Rooster Teeth, which is a huge name as well.
Oh, yeah.
And they brought in a movie studio basically over there, and they filmed at least 2 movies in there. If not, I think there's a 3rd or 4th one even. They're bringing all of this in the entertainment side. The only thing we have in San Antonio that can compare to that is a small little thing called Alamo City Studio, I think.
Yes, Alamo City Studios.
And that's only tiny. It's not even a movie studio.
Like
it's nothing.
Quarter Moon Productions, I think. Aren't they?
I think they're, but I think they're still around. But
even if they are,
Alamo City,
if I throw it next to Rooster Teeth, you're gonna be, who the heck is that?
Exactly.
Rooster Teeth. Everyone knows Rooster Teeth.
Everybody
the last,
does.
What, 16 years that Halo's been out?
Pretty much. But the only thing, what we do have that Austin doesn't have?
What?
Geeky Talk Radio.
That's right.
Award-winning Geeky Talk Radio. But that's it. We get PAX South, but I mean, it's only a matter of time before PAX South will eventually move to Austin.
Well, it was in Austin. Don't forget. We won that somehow, which I'm surprised we ever did.
But we lost Wizard World.
But we lost Wizard World.
We lost Wizard World. And we already know Wizard World said they're not coming back.
I mean, basically, we have our homegrown cons, and that's it outside of PAX South.
It's like San Antonio's in this bubble. And anything beyond 1604, beyond like Bear County, we just don't care. We don't care that much. And I'm telling you, it's our city leaders. And you know what? I'm going to call them out by name. It's people who, like Nelson Wolf, who are 106 years old, who remember the way that the 60s were, and are just like, you know what? We're pretty good right now. We're just going to stand pat with the status quo. The status quo is what's going to kill San Antonio. And it drives me crazy that we don't have the foresight to move forward with this. It drives me crazy that we're just going to get lapped by Houston, Dallas, and Austin. I mean, there was a time when San Antonio was really on the rise, and we were making some noise. And now, there's
so you're saying Castro would have helped? But the Castro brothers?
The Castro brothers didn't do very much.
They were doing more than they're doing now, though.
Well, that's because they're not involved in the city anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, now we're stuck with the city manager who doesn't know what she's
retiring. She's on her way out the door.
She's on the way out the door.
She doesn't care.
And now we're sitting here with a city government that they don't know how to move forward. It's right in front of them, but they don't see it. They don't see the forest for the trees.
They want to invest in hotels and more apartments downtown. That's it.
That's it. That's all they want to do. It's 1980s mentality here in 2019. So that'll wrap it up. For Goose, for Aaron, and for myself, I do want to thank our sponsors, Dragon's Lair Alamo Ranch, Havoc, and The Mailing Spot. You have embraced your inner geek, so be sure to get your geek on every single day.